Punxsutawney Phil's prediction, a great Caesar show deal, a fireworks world record, and vintage Vegas pins. All of that coming up right now on MTM Vegas, the solo show. Happy Monday to all you MTM Vegas peeps. I hope you had a great weekend. Don't forget to subscribe, but let's get right into the news. Punxsutawney Phil, the famous groundhog that we all know, came out and predicted winter. 6 more weeks of winter is coming, although nobody told Las Vegas because the weather has been perfect in the low 70s this entire week. So if you are in Las Vegas, post a picture, send it out to social media, make everybody jealous after all those big storms. The weather here is good, but I guess it's bad news for people who visit from elsewhere. If you're buried in the snow, I feel for you, all the Canadians, all the people in the Midwest, the East Coast. I hope you're doing well. We're enjoying our weather. I don't want to rub it in anymore, but let's go look at the A's ballpark. The A's actually created a account for their ballpark, the Vegas Athletics account. And while we have shown some drone videos from Chris Holmes and some other videos and updates from the site, this is their official drone video of the ballpark construction. And they did a good job of sort of mixing in the model as well, so you can see that on the screen. And as a reminder, as we've looked at this, as we've analyzed this going over time, I mean, it does seem like they're building a ballpark there. And we talked last week about Bally's timeline and how probably we'll get a theater and maybe some other stuff there by the time the ballpark opens, but probably not a casino in time. A lot still up in the air. But for those who are skeptical, it just seems like they keep building it. I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think at this point this is not going to get built? Would we just end up with this just sitting there? I don't know what the theory is there, but still we don't know who's paying for what. That hasn't all been disclosed. And I do believe the A's do still have a funding shortcut to finish this thing, but it's good to see it moving along as it should. Follow Vegas Athletics on social media to get updates. One other takeaway from this, are they going to go by the Vegas Athletics or the Las Vegas Athletics? I know that's a little distinction, but we have the Vegas Golden Knights and then we have the Las Vegas Raiders. Which do you prefer, the Las or just the Vegas by itself? So not to get heavy or anything, but on the last show, we talked about the Vegas numbers for 2025, and it wasn't good. And a lot of you had a lot to say. Maybe through this week, we'll sprinkle in some of your comments on what you think is happening in Vegas, the future, what Vegas needs to do. But after talking about that, I heard from Paul Steelman, one of the architects that built Las Vegas, the architect responsible, for example, for Mirage or Resorts World, tons of casinos all around the world. I think over 1,000 casino projects Steelman Partners have worked on. We've talked about him before, but here is what he had to say. Many reasons are cited for the recent decline in tourism, rising costs, fewer visitors, and fewer Canadians. Those are the easy explanations, but one core truth remains. Las Vegas has always been about majesty and spectacle, and in recent years, there have been very few new spectacles that compel people to come. In '98, we had the Bellagio Lake and Conservatory. In 2005, Wynn introduced the Gardens and Lake of Dreams. In 2020, Circa reinvented downtown with Stadium Swim and a theatrical sportsbook, unlike anything the world had seen. Those were majestic and free. Open to the public first, the kind of experiences that could only happen in Las Vegas. When the Sphere opened in 23, it introduced an extraordinary new architectural and technological icon to Las Vegas. Unfortunately, experiencing the Sphere today generally requires purchasing an expensive show ticket. It would be wonderful to see the Sphere's public spaces activated in the future so its innovation and design can be appreciated by a broader audience. Today, we haven't seen many new moments like that. While the inventive spirit still exists, it's clearly constrained by current market realities. What concerns me is the idea held by some that developments like large shopping malls are attractions. Very few truly are. Likewise, building walls of real estate in front of places like the Horseshoe or in front of what should be a great ballpark undermines the very resort culture that made Las Vegas so globally appealing in the first place. This is somebody who designed these buildings, and we've talked about the frontages and how everything is getting closer to the Strip. We're losing the spectacle. We're losing the storytelling a little bit as the city sort of unfolds itself in front of you, everything right out in front of you, blasting right in your face. And we're seeing that with the two projects we have today, which is the ballpark and the Hard Rock Guitar Tower, which the Hard Rock is actually taking the Mirage property, building it all the way out to the street. And then we see that big mall, the Bally's complex. But again, what is the big thing? I guess the Sphere has the exterior screen, and that did draw people for a while. But I think once you see that the first time, I don't know if you're going out of your way to see it again. Everything that is a spectacle in Vegas these days costs money, and I think that's sort of the point Paul is trying to make. The over-the-top stuff to draw you in isn't there, and remember, Las Vegas needs to be something special and over the top in order to draw people here. This is a big world. There's a lot to see. Technology is advancing everywhere. Spectacle is all over the place. In fact, we cover that quite often on our travel show and on here. How is Vegas going to reinvent itself? Thanks to Paul for sending over his thoughts, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about his words and about his thoughts for Las Vegas. As a reminder, you can get all access on our Patreon with all of our new perks and benefits, $5 through February 8th, and then the normal tier prices apply. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas. I just personally want to thank all of the new Patreon members. So many cool new people in that community. Join us over there. It wouldn't be MTM Vegas without some sort of nostalgia. Here we go. I know Sean is going to ramble on, but I found this cool site and I think you guys want to see it. LasVegasPins.com. I have no affiliation with them. I think the name is Battleborn Pins of the site, but they have all these really cool pins and magnets. Some of the pins I really enjoyed. The Flamingo. They had a Stardust marquee with stars, another Stardust thing. They have vintage Vegas phone case, which was really cool. They have, of course, Circus Circus clown pin. Even the Rio sign. There's hundreds of things on there. But then as I was digging through and seeing it, I found the creme de la creme, the best thing ever, the thing that you are waiting for, and that is this. This is a phone case that has the old El Cortez carpet on the back of it. Yes, I finally found a Las Vegas carpet phone case. This is the old floral design that they had before they changed over to the, I don't know, was it like a leopard print kind of thing that they have going on now? But I think this is just a local independent business making this stuff. Lots of fridge magnets, all your vintage Vegas stuff. And dare I say, it goes pretty deep. So there's some niche things on there I think you guys would enjoy. But too bad they don't have the iPhone 17 for the phone case. But I think a casino carpet phone case is in my future at some point. If you know anything about the site, feel free to let me know. I just found it on X and I thought I would share because who doesn't need more vintage Vegas in their life? Now, one of the cool pins was Rio's sign. And speaking of Rio, Vegas Revealed just had an interview with Patrick Miller, the guy who's in charge of rebirthing the property, and basically nothing new to say. That's what I would say in this interview. He talked about all of the investment, the renovated rooms, the new restaurants, everything that we've talked about. Of course, they've renovated 1,500 of the rooms. They still have the Masquerade Tower, to which they say those rooms are at a discount now. I guess that's how it's working. Some of those rooms, I mean, they were tired 10 years ago, 15 years ago, so they really do need to work on this. But they said they're still reevaluating that phase 2, the Masquerade Village and the Masquerade Tower, what will happen, looking for the best tenants there. And for 2026, the only thing he sort of teased was maybe some new restaurants, of which the only one we know is And Pizza, which is going to go in next to Egg Sled. I'm guessing that we're pretty much done there for a while until they get some investment or they can sell off that tower or the land under it or some sort of other deal. It's clear that they don't have the right partners or money or investment or idea for that space. He did say, and we've talked about this before, that is non-smoking. The whole Masquerade Casino is non-smoking now. I've been there a couple times in the last few weeks, very empty in there all the time, but he points out it's one of the larger non-smoking casinos in Las Vegas. So there you go. I guess they got to get some money. I mean, they got to get some money to finish this. If they had just put new carpet in there, I think people would have forgiven them. But here we go. What do you think? I mean, I'm glad to see him out there. He's a great spokesman for Rio. But at this point, I feel like we've reached the end of the line and we're like 6-9 months of just saying, well, phase 2, phase 2, phase 2, looking for the right mix and nothing to come. But what will be coming is the International Fireworks Championships. That's coming to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway February 21st. Tickets are from $59. That's for like general admission, and they go up quite a bit more from there. But what's interesting about this is you're going to have 4 of the top fireworks teams in the world, each doing their own show. So you get that, and there's music and bands and all kinds of good stuff out there. And they describe it as the premier global stage where pyrotechnic artistry, creativity, and national pride ignite the desert sky. But one other interesting aspect of this championship is that Ricardo Caballero, he's going to attempt the world record for mascleta. Now, I had never heard of this, but this is apparently daytime fireworks, and this, I think, comes from Spain. I'll throw some video I found of a macleta going on, but this will happen at 5 o'clock, and then later on the other fireworks shows as it gets darker, music, everything else. This sounds like a really cool event. Parking is included out at the Speedway with your tickets, so you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, it should be a crazy spectacle. If you're into fireworks, this will be the place to be. These are the best in the world doing it. Plus, you get the chance to see some daytime fireworks, I guess, a world record, all of that coming out of Las Vegas, a great event. I don't know, maybe I should go out there and see it. I really do love fireworks. And in the past, in covering these world championships, those displays are insane. They have music going to it. It's a full-on spectacle. Have you attended this? Have you been out to the fireworks championships? I know that they've moved it around the country, but they do have this every year. Leave a comment. But let's close with this. Caesars has announced a new package, another deal for you guys as we go into 2026 in a slower time. And this is $149 for 3 shows. Now, on the surface, this seems great, and it's actually a pretty good deal depending on the show. But I guess let's start with that. Here are your choices. Harrah's, you have Donny Osmond, MJ Live, X Country, Menopause the Musical, Colin Cloud Mastermind. Flamingo, you have Wayne Newton, RuPaul's Drag Race Live, Piff the Magic Dragon. And then Horseshoe, you have BattleBots, Laugh Factory, X-Rocks, Frederick Da Silva, and Sin City Stones. So not the biggest shows in the world. These are smaller type of shows. But the good news is the $149 includes all of your taxes and fees. In fact, for 2 people, the total, when I went through the whole process, was $297.96 out the door. So that's good news in that you don't have any hidden fees or extra stuff to pay for. The site is actually very good, very well done. You go in there, you select the package, it shows you all the shows, and then you basically add each of the 3 shows to your cart. And then in the end, you will have the magic price. And it does try to assign the best seats to you, but you do have, I think, the ability to go in there and change them if you want. When I did it, it just auto-assigned seats to me, and I just sort of accepted them. But this is a great way. If we're talking about Vegas entertainment, more expensive than ever at $49 a show. Now, this is what I'll be honest with you about. I have house seats, and I see a lot of these shows on house seats. So these aren't the most popular shows. These aren't shows that are selling out all the time. These may be shows that you can often find other discounts to or comps if you're a player. So keep that in mind. But there are some big things. Piff, highly, highly rated. Go see Wayne Newton before he's gone. Donny Osmond, of course, longtime performer here. I've heard good things about the BattleBots, that it's kind of fun. It's in a tent kind of behind Horseshoe. You have the brand new Laugh Factory Comedy Club there, and some other good stuff. So some decent quality shows, things I've heard about, some of the novelty, like Wayne Newton, for example. Just go see Wayne Newton 3 times. You can go see him 3 times for $149. And then for the rest of your life, you'll know that you went and saw him over at Flamingo. I don't know, but this is another sign. When we talked about the shifting entertainment stuff, on the next show, I will talk about Absinthe. I went a few weeks ago, a great time, but that's sort of the opposite end of this, a show that is being successful. But even Absinthe's runners, Disco Show, even their showrunners are struggling. So maybe we will see more of these deals. Which of these shows would you want to go see? Which one would you pick? Which 3 would you pick? Are you planning to do this? One last thing to note, I looked everywhere for an expiration and I could not find one. I don't know if they released it. So just go around, play around with your dates, go look and see if they work for you. But I don't know of any hard expiration for this deal. So let me know down in the comments what you think about anything we talked about today. The A's ballpark cam, Punxsutawney Phil, 6 more weeks of winter, those vintage Vegas pins in that carpet phone case. Of course, the Caesars show package. Leave a comment. We do 3 shows a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I'll be back here with Mark on Wednesday. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.